That is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. And Jim, how you doing?
I'm good, Aaron. How
Good.
are you?
Good. I'm all right. Did you watch a hockey game yesterday?
No, I didn't, but I
What?
didn't have to because you could feel the paroxysm of I don't know. It seems the entire there was a disturbance in the forest yesterday there, Aaron, and it was just people. I got to tell you straight up, and I don't want to go belabor it. I by all means support the team, whatever. But when you see people, even today, they're still trying to equate somehow what happened in that hockey game with, I don't know, our national character or whatever. It's so, and people saying, well, no, I still love them anyway. It's a hockey game, folks. Take it easy.
Yeah.
I appreciate your support and everything, but you know what? It's going to be interesting, though, because you saw the scandal already developing with Trump and the U.S. teams, right?
Scandal? Trump? U.S. teams?
Oh, yeah, because the State of the Union address, the women's team has said flat out, no, we're not. Sorry, we're busy. We have plans.
Can't make it to the White House.
Well, that's
Okay.
the thing. It's like they're not going to be there. And this after Trump made some rather disparaging remarks, which I won't repeat on the radio, about the women's team while talking to the men's team.
I didn't hear that.
So there you go.
Well, I had no idea. Brian, did you hear about this? Oh, I have to catch up on this, Jim. I was not aware. All right. Let me focus closer to home. Funny, I know we haven't talked about it a whole lot. There is a by-election tonight. This one is happening in Chicoutimi. How significant is this? I mean, it's kind of a foregone conclusion the PQ will win or not?
Well, I'm not entirely sure about that because when everyone's saying it was a PQ chateau fort. Yeah, it was up until the 2022 election where the Coalition Avenir Quebec won its biggest plurality of votes. It won by a margin of more than 14,000 votes over the PQ candidate. I think it's going to be very interesting. I mean, I guess the odds say the PQ are going to take it, but it's don't underestimate, I think, the Conservative candidate. There was a poll with a very, very small sampling. And I think it has some ridiculous margin of error, like 6%, and they've got the I think the PQs at 29, and they've got the Conservative candidate at 19. But as I say, it's a very small sampling. You don't know, but it really is going to be a litmus test to see if, given all the other stuff that's happened now, given the gaffes that have been committed by Paul St. Pierre Plamondon, given the idea that I think it may be sinking through, that these guys are serious about having another referendum. Yeah. These guys are serious about taking us back a few decades in time to a position where perhaps Quebec was in better shape to weather a referendum than it is now. That may sink in, and I'd be very, very interested. I'm going to follow very closely the results of tonight's election because, quite frankly, if the PQ pulls this off and pulls it off convincingly, it suggests that they are enjoying a kind of, how can I put it, not even a honeymoon. They are absolutely hermetically sealed from any kind of criticism. But if it's anything other than that, even if it's close, it may have an effect perhaps on how the PQ is going to behave between now and next October. And as I say, I would not necessarily count out the conservative candidate.
Okay. Meanwhile, I read this today, and I thought, I'm curious. I don't want to give it away when I tell you this, but I saw what Christine Frechette had to say in a speech the other day, and there are some interesting things in here, including, and I want to just quote some of them. She said she wants to. It's time to shun false choices, like having to stand for either economic strength or Quebec identity. She said the old parties have presented you with false choices. A lot of this is kind of rehash. I get that part. But she also made the first promise of the campaign, which was to refund first-time homebuyers the welcome tax, but didn't say where that money's coming from. And I thought as I read this, Jim, and maybe you'll disagree, there's some stuff in here I wish the Liberal candidate would have said.
Well, as you say, you don't know where the money's coming from. What I find intriguing in all of this is it seems that between Madame Frechette and Bernard Drinville, who's the other candidate for the leadership, the strategy is put as much distance between yourself and the party you're running for, okay, and make yourself a fresh face. All that stuff that happened over the past 8 years, forget about that. That's Bobby Ewing in the shower. That never happened. We're going to go forward in a bold new Quebec, for you and for me. And then to turn around and say that the PQ and the Liberals are sowing division, this from the most divisive government in Quebec history, is a bit much. But I think what I find fascinating in this entire process is we are talking about a party which, to all intent and purposes, is dead on the operating table. Okay, you just have to call the time of death, and that the time of death will be called next October. But the idea that somehow, we're going to turn the ship around because everything, it was just Francois Legault who, in fact, founded the party and was responsible for everything. Yeah, but he's gone now, so things are going to be different. I really don't think, even in its most credulous moments, that the Quebec electorate is ready to buy that. As for the Liberals, I got to tell you, I don't know what the strategy is. Quite frankly, Aaron, I'm not entirely sure there is a strategy. And maybe that may also be due to the fact I think that, and I have nothing other than instinct to go on this, I think that he is putting out, Mr. Midyar is putting out a lot of how can I put it, mattress fires within his own party. The departure of Mr. Rodriguez, who enjoyed a lot of support within the caucus and within the party, has left a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouths. I think he's going to concentrate on that. Will it cost the Liberals during the election? It's going to depend on Charles Milliard. It's going to depend on what kind of a leader. Because let's face it, when everything's going your way, Aaron, it's easy to be a leader. It's how you deal with the challenges. Right now, he may be keeping his powder dry. On the other hand, I don't really think we can talk about the PQ and the Conservatives in this riding and point out that the electorate, at least in 2022, was quite willing to try another way other than the PQ, which they've been voting for forever. However, when it comes to the Liberals, I don't think they had a real chance there. So I don't think you're going to devote too much time and too much effort to running a full-blown campaign there. And as you say, as for the first question, I think that's what a lot of people are looking at now. You can make all kinds of promises, but the days of Mon Oncle Francois handing out $500 checks are gone. And as you say, where's the money going to come from? You don't have to pay the welcome tax. Well, yeah, then who's going to pay it? Because this is what the city does in terms of cities do in terms of maintaining infrastructure payments and stuff like that. It really is an important source of revenue for them. But listen, I think in this particular instance, when it comes to the Coalition Avenir Quebec, whether you're a leadership contender, whether you're an MNA, whether you're an soon-to-be ex-premier, you will say or do anything that will burnish the really, really, really reprehensible legacy that you're leaving behind in this province.
So I would just point out one thing here, which she said. This is from Christine Frechette, right? She said, I thought this is interesting. Her government would focus on repairing the roads, schools, and hospitals before launching costly new projects.
Yeah.
Ignoring the fact that she's been in this government that has done exactly the opposite for the past 8 years.
Well, yeah, but it's also, and don't take this the wrong way, but it's almost as if her campaign advisors are basing her policy on what they hear on talk radio.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that's fine.
But this is, exactly. But this is the thing. I was hoping for perhaps a little more in the way of imagination, but this is where we are, and the idea. And this is what bugs me is when we look at the suggestion of somehow, this will be a different person. This will be a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
This woman was in the caucus, whether it's Bill 21, Bill 96, you name it. Elle est caquiste au bout, as we say in these parts. And I don't see a lot of daylight between her and the party. So she can do or say whatever she wants. She can obviously point the finger at other parties, which is something that the CAQ has been doing for 8 years. But I'm not entirely sure whether it's her or Granville. I don't think it's going to help either one of them in October in the vote that really, really counts. And quite frankly, as I want to say on this show every now and then, it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of people as far as I'm concerned.
Jim, I want to get your take on what is my question today concerning the floor crossing Matt Genereux, but only because I read Balarama Holness's op-ed in the Gazette the other day, and I thought, the interesting analogy about, imagine if it was a hockey team and this happened and a guy decided to leave one team and switch in the middle of the game. Well, what do you think should happen here? Should it be an automatic by-election? Are you okay with this?
It's part of our system. Does it rub people the wrong way? Well, okay, you have X number of whatever months or years between the next election to make it clear, not just to the candidate, but to the party that he went to, that if that's not what you want, then that's not what you're going to have. There will be a price to pay down the road. But all parties, well, maybe except for the NDP, and I'm hearing rumors that may change as well. But certainly the Liberals and the Conservatives are no strangers to floor crossings. If you make it, we don't have a recall system here, which some jurisdictions do have, which I think might be a little more to the point, especially if it was a close election. But right now, under the system we have, Liberals, if they were disaffected with how Mark Carney is running things, could cross the floor of the Conservatives. The fact that it's going one way right now, a lot of people are getting their noses out of joints over it. But let's face it, we've had Liberals cross over to the Conservatives in happier days. So honestly, I think it's the system we have right now, and you can send your message in the next election to whoever it was that you think double-crossed you.
By the way, can I just ask, I'm curious as well, because one of the interesting things that came up the first time we asked was some people saying, well, when you vote, you're voting for the party, you're not voting for the candidate, with other people saying, no, you're voting for the candidate, that person.
Yeah,
what do you think?
It is not my opinion. In our system, you are voting for the candidate who is a part of a party, and if you figure that if you want to look at things à la Americain, that no, I'm going to vote. I don't even know who my MP's name is, but he's running for this leader, so that's going to be the thing. Well, sorry, that as we can see with floor crossings, that's not how it works.
Leave it at that, Jim. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years.
And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.